Savvy time. It's the savvy time kind of time. Watch out, I gotta go kick a pony in the booty. I go punch a pony in the nose. He's not supposed to be in here yet. He took too long. Savvy beat him to it. Savvy beat you to it. That's all there is. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Okay, big time. Big time, sleepy boy. You can open that.
Okay. You know what? You forgot to leave 10 feet between those posts we put a gate.
Oh, shoot.
It's got 8 feet.
Sure did. But one of those may not be deep enough. We might be able to just fill it back in.
Well, it looks like you got them pretty good. No?
Only a,
3 on the end are probably only big problems when you got the water in.
no, they're all.
Huh?
They were all. We had 1 or 2 that made it almost deep enough. And the rest of them were maybe half.
Well, okay, what's there and what's
Your TV.
you find all those parts?
I found the one bolt. The one was sitting there.
There's one somewhere in there. With the
We
net.
couldn't find it. He said he had other ones.
Well, I'll go find it. Okay, I'm going to leave Hannah to watch you,
Yep.
I guess. And I got another roll of hay. I got anyway, long story.
No.
Danny, hi, sweetie.
No.
He has to come and say hi to Aunt Lydia. Yes, he does. Anyway, I'll talk to you more later.
Yeah. Hey, that's not your stuff. No, you got your own stuff. Who is that best pony? He's so handsome. Hey, 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 there you go. What a good pony. He is so smart. He is so smart. We talk a lot about it's all about the relationship, and that what that means is just how do they feel about being with you and doing what you ask or how you ask. How do they feel about it? Different horsenalities have different, just like different people have different personalities, and some people can take a joke, and some people can't. It's kind of that kind of theory that if some horses you can ask for a lot, and other ones you got to kind of slow down. Mostly it's help them feel confident, slow down enough so they can feel confident in understanding what it is you want. There's not much they won't do once they understand that it's not going to hurt them.
Right, same destination, just, different route.
Hey, got big chill on that. What do you think you're doing? You look like you need some exercise. Exercise. And we're thinking about when we're exercising, we're thinking about not just exercising them physically, but mentally and emotionally also. Oh no. Always experiment with your horse. Different pressures, softer, harder, different places. Like with these guys, I'll just, a lot of times I'll just go scratching them, and then they'll move around to places they want to be scratched. And that kind of starts giving them the idea that we're actually listening. If we can find what they're trying to get us to scratch. Once they think we're paying attention and we're trying to be a benevolent dictator and do things with them and for them instead of to them and for us, then they start putting effort into being in the right place, trying to do the right thing in order to keep from getting keep from running into pressure. So basically what we like to think of, what I like to think of is I've got an imaginary box around my horse, and when I want to go, say, to the left, I'll start moving that box into his right side, and he'll go, oh, I'm not supposed to touch the box, and he starts moving out of the way. As soon as he goes, oh, I know what you want, then I'll let go all the pressure. That's one of the things that we didn't learn when I was a kid, when I learned to ride. It's pull their head to stop, pull their head to turn, kick them to go. But nobody had any idea that horses had that ability to have a conversation with a human. So technically I'm brushing him, cleaning him up to ride, but really what I'm really thinking about doing is finding all these itchy spots, and while I'm scratching them I might swipe some dirty spots, get some dirty spots clean, and next thing you know he's all ready to go. I see, been on the racetrack all my life, and especially at the bigger tracks, they'll just tie the horse to the wall and start brushing, and the horse just hates it.
Aggressively and pulling
but that's just telling you the horse doesn't like or understand what you're doing. He doesn't think you're doing things for him. In fact, he may be out in his mind going, oh boy, here comes that groom with the saddle. Now I'm going to have to go out and be scared to death and run around the racetrack. Same reason horses will run to their barn and run to a stall even if it's on fire, because if they spend most of their time there, that's where they think the most safety is. So they'll do things that don't make sense. But to them, the safety and comfort are on the forefront of their mind all the time. Safety especially. Unless they've been in a place forever and know and trust whoever they're with. He's not worried about safety now. He's going, give me some comfort. Comfort, play, and food. But they can either, that's another thing I want to explain. When they act like a prey animal, they're using their reactive side of their brain. And when they act like a partner, they're using the thinking side of their brain. So, and in nature, they normally spend most of their time in the left side of their brain. It's just when scary stuff happens, they think slow, move fast. So when stuff is happening and they can't figure out what it is that's going on, first defense is just take off running. They're claustrophobic by nature because they know their best survival tactic is being able to move their feet. And if they're tied up or restricted or being pulled on, that's just going to escalate the anxiety rather than help them get back to the thinking side of their brain. And that's kind of all the things we do, all the little things we teach, especially the foundation stuff. It's all intended to have something for them to fall back on. When they get confused, I can go, hey, what's 2 plus 2? You know, a simple thing that he knows, and he'll go, so now he has to get out of his reactive side of his brain and go, oh, you're talking to me, what are you saying? Oh, that's an easy question. So that path to back to the left brain is something that you're going to have to realize you're going to be doing all the time. You're going to be always talking to them because you go in a new place, and all of a sudden they go, did you hear that? Do you smell that? And if you don't have a good enough relationship where you can go, whatever it was, it's okay. I've got it covered. So get back and think to me. And if he's still, I can't. Okay, then can you do 1 plus 1 and 1 plus 2 and 2 plus 1? And just start asking them questions. They go, oh man, I don't have to do stupid kindergarten puzzles again. That's boring. And then now they're bored, they're not anxious ridden and worried. So now you're back to stasis and go, okay, now we can do something interesting. Give you a scratch, give you a cookie because you paid attention, you complied, and came back into the herd of us, the herd of two. Oh yeah, it's so tasty. Those saddles are so tasty. I just like to eat them up. Chow time. Arr. Arr. So especially in the beginning, I let them chew on it.
Right. You got that Colt saddle, you don't mind having a few bites out of it.
I don't mind that. I mean, the bites don't matter out of even a brand new saddle. That doesn't bother me. But that's just their way of finding a way to accept that. Now he's playing with it. He's not looking for. He's not doing it to test it out to see if it's dangerous. He's going, oh boy, a chew toy. I'm a stud cold and got all these hormones running through me, and I'm growing, and have that energy to do something. We just take it and shape it. So we spend a ton of time on foundation, the fundamentals, just like when you learn to read. Remember, I don't know if you still had that. We had a deal where you could buy books off a sheet, and it was a big traveling library thing they had in a big bus, and you'd order the books you wanted, and their advertisement kind of said RIF, reading is fundamental. So the fundamental, when we talk about fundamental and foundation, it's us reading them reading us, knowing what our body posture, what to make of, our energy, if it's up or down. And it's just a process of experiencing that over and over. Like, how many times did you read the word dog, cat, and ladder before you didn't have to think about how to sound it out? And that's all we're doing. We're teaching them the letters and teaching them small words and repeating that until they can just go, oh, that means left, oh, that means right. There's no question. But it doesn't happen overnight, and the people that do get it to happen overnight, they make it happen. And then the horse is always going, still not. They're never going to want to go, oh, I love hanging out with you. They're going to go, oh, you're here. They'll act obedient sometimes if they're the right personality. And if you still do things in a way that they can understand what's going on, but they're never going to be oh boy, here comes my human to the barn or the pasture, they're like, oh, I see him. Let's get as far away as we can. So that's basically what we try to eliminate is any negative thoughts they have to us. If they have an itch, he knows he's free to ask for where I can get to it. That belly's the itchiest spot. So if I do enough of this, when I ask him for something, even if it's not something he wants to do, he's gonna go run around the round pen 5 circle. That's boring. Why would anybody want to do that? But he'll go, well, okay. He'll go, well, if you do this for that, okay, it makes sense. I can do that. And it just as their fitness, the mental, emotional, and especially physical fitness, gets higher and higher, 5 rounds is going to feel like 1 round. It's just like, oh, it's a simple deal. Now, next thing you know, you can do 20 each way, and they just go out there and they're not worried. They're just going, I got to keep going until my person says stop. If I do that right, I can stop. If I stop before I'm asked, chances are I'm going to get sent back out in the other direction and start all over again. Eventually they start, like everything, they're looking for the path of least resistance of everything. We all do it. Talk about we don't actually have free will. Our brain, that's a trick that our brain plays on us, but our brain is always tipping us towards what it thinks is in our best interest. So you can call it free will, but it's really not. And it's the same thing with horses. They've got Mother Nature talking to them about safety and comfort, but they also have learned from their mama on down that they're a herd animal, and their best chance of safety is to find a herd and figure out who the herd leader is and not do anything he doesn't like, or she. Act like a good partner. Yeah. He just thinks, oh, hurry up and ask me something so I can get a reward. Ask me to do something so I can get a reward. We'll just keep, we call it playing the games, because you know what he wants. He knows he's trying to figure out what you want. He knows the sooner you see how light he is when I just pick up energy a little bit. He's like, I know what that means. Let me hurry up and do it. Let me hurry up and do it so I don't get tagged. Whoop, nobody said move your feet. Oh no. Uh-oh, I didn't say that way. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so smart. So that pressure is what we call negative reinforcement. That we add a negative stimuli, and when they remove themselves from that, the pressure goes away. That's the negative reinforcement, and then we add positive reinforcement right after. And then if he stops doing what we ask, we'll go right back to energy up. Good job. So you're thinking, what I do with energy, I don't know if I've talked to you that much about energy yet, but basically that's how horses communicate best, is energy. Like a pin their ears, they can feel that angry energy, you better get out of my way, or playful energy, just like dogs will do it. They'll do that play bow, and the other dog will go, oh, I know what you want to do. So there's signs that he's going to, with his energy, that I'm going to show to him. When my energy goes up, he should be aware that I'm fixing to ask for something. When my energy comes down, that's a signal that he did the right thing. But I didn't ask for going forward. It's almost like a game of Simon Says too. So if Simon says come forward, then you can come forward. I asked him to stop right there. He finally went, oh, okay, I get it. Because every time he does something that Simon didn't say, we got to just ask him to go back where he started, reward him for that, and then we'll start again. Once they realize that's just the pattern of how everything goes, then they'll just go, oh, I know what you're doing. I know I must not have been thinking. Ask him to go out here. I didn't have to use a stick at all. He knows when I lead my hand out that I'm asking for him to move that direction. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah, what a good pony. Ah. See, his head's down all the time. He's relaxed. That's all what you need. It wasn't, you'll see that if you watch the videos in the beginning, that they didn't know what I wanted them to do out in the circle. They just, look around, their head was high. Eventually they figured out, I'm just gonna have to go around the circle over and over again. I don't know why. Let me just make it easier for me to do that by moving my body in the most biomechanically efficient way possible. And once that becomes a habit, then that gets rid of all the other, all the other problems that the self-carriage is the big thing, where people are always trying to shape their body. If the horse knows when you ask him to trot, it's trot. It's trot at 4 miles an hour or more or less if I ask for that, but then stay at that gait until I ask for something different. And once they learn all that on the ground, it's real easy on the saddle. They just go, okay, because if they stop, just like if he stops, I'll stop him, face him, send him the other way. And if he goes 2 or 3 rounds, goes a couple rounds like you saw me doing, I would just start leading him out again. So if he didn't go from that and he didn't go from that and I got far enough, I got to the fence, now he can't keep coming around me, so now he has to switch directions. So he'll go out, then I'll send him around, and then he'll go around the other way. And eventually, after he's done that a few times, he's going to go, oh shoot, let me just stay going until he asks me to stop. And when he asks me to stop, heck, I get all this love and attention. But if I stop when he doesn't ask, I'm just going to have to go again. And once they get that figured out and get that self-carriage thing figured out, then they start moving their body correctly. They start using their back properly, so it's easier for them to understand how to move better when we're on their back. They've already gotten a habit of lifting it automatically, like they would in nature, without any fear. Like when fear comes up and we pull on their face, it hollows their back. When their backs get hollow, they become unathletic and very, very bumpy to ride on top of all that. And that ends up sending concussion down through their legs, down through their body. They end up chipping knees, chipping ankles, bowing tendons, suspensories. All those things are there to nobody said go over there. I want him to anticipate but not assume. So he sees the rope in this hand, and we already went that way, so he's anticipating going the other way, but he's starting to assume. He's starting to get turned, letting his butt come that way and his nose head that way, because he thinks he knows what's going on. Each time he does the wrong thing, I stop him, correct him, and start again until we only practice the right things. Just that all comes from mistakes I made when I didn't understand all the little things that. So I add that so you can hear it again if you watch the video. But precision is what we're looking for. In the beginning we're going to be, just get somewhere close. If I asked him to back up and he finally fell backwards a little bit, I go, okay, good try. You're in the ballpark now. Let's try again. And until they're like this, where you just lift up your energy and pull your air in. And he's sleeping, so he's going to get tagged. Simon said, move. You can always tell where they're thinking about going by where they're looking. they're looking at you and thinking about you, that's the right thing. When you start to ask them to go on a circle, they should be looking where you're pointing, to go where they're looking. If they're not, then you're going to get their attention back and start again. You may do it at a shorter distance so they understand, you know, if you're just teaching them. That was good. He's so smart. He's so smart. But it should be a habit that your horse doesn't take his eyes or attention off of you. And if they do, like, it's hard to show on this one because he doesn't. He's like, but if he did, if he looked over at the girls, I'll just sneak over here to his hindquarters and look at his, until he went, "Oop, I'm going to have to move those." And now that I look back to you to see what you wanted and did what you wanted, now I not only got to practice the hindquarter yield again, I got my eyes back on you and felt you go, "Yes, good job." Let that energy down. Your energy comes up to add the pressure, and then as soon as he goes, "Oh, wait a minute," let that air out, that energy out, and you go, "Oh, okay." Then he knows he did the right thing. Then you don't have to always give him a cookie or a scratch or something. Just that slight energy drop tells them they did the right thing, and they could relax now. Or be ready for the next command. Okay. That way. Asking for a canter. I got speed up. That was good. At least he's going, "Oh, I think I know what that means." Hurry, speed a little bit more. Uh-oh. There it is. What a champ. Ah. I know. You had a hard pony life. Very hard. Not everybody could do it. Okay. Racehorses and pumpkin. Racehorses and pumpkin. Okay, put this on you. That's the part. That's about those laneways that encourages movement. What are they doing? Where are you going? Oh, I hear some horses running around. I think I should probably get worried. If horses are running, somebody's chasing them probably. I don't want them to come over, sneak and chase me. She's gonna get overtaken. Nope. She can fly downhill, that little girl. You want to bit? I'm glad when things like this happen, because I want him to experience chaos and having to ignore chaos and tune back into me in order to stay safe and comfortable. Okay. I wouldn't leave if I was you. I wouldn't leave if I was you. Yeah, you're so smart. You're so smart. There's so excitement going on around here. There's so much exciting things going on. Ow! Pay attention. You're getting too wound up. There you go. Stay with me. Stay with me. That's not a hindquarter yield. That's not a hindquarter. There you go. So each time he stepped around that hindquarter yield, when he was still tight, he would step behind. When he finally decided to relax, he could step underneath, because they have to move their ribs and relax their belly in order to have room for that foot to step underneath. Correct.
Camped over under themselves trying to take off.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to
There you
say, but it was so scary.
There you go. I know. You think they're going to get you, but they're not. There's nothing going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Chaos. Because when they get to the racetrack or any competition that you're going to do, there's going to be a lot of horses around not comfortable about what's going on, and there's some licking and chewing. He's like, oh, okay. Whew. I really thought something was scary was happening, but it wasn't. I'm okay now. It's funny, they used to gobble this bit up once they first figured it out. Now, I don't know if it's because it's just, you know, I never really use it when I have it in, but this one especially knows how to ride bridleless, so he's like, what do I need a bit for? Why do I need a bit? It's just like getting a shot or getting their feet trimmed. It's not anything fun to do, but if they have to wear a piece of equipment, that saddle, it's not, probably that cinch isn't the best, but it's still a sign if he's not going to take it once he really understands that he's just going to get more pressure if he doesn't. That's just another game we play. Can you get the bit? Can you get me to stop pestering you? What do you think you can do to get me to stop pestering you? So first thing is put your nose in so he's close. He's close to the target, but he hasn't engaged it. So each time he does the right thing, I'm still going to reward him. And then as soon as he leaves, I'm going to cause more chaos and commotion. That wasn't a hindquarter yield. That was not even any better. There you go. Whew. You be a silly pony. You be a silly pony. Oh, you are. Super silly. Who wants a cookie? Boop, bloop, bloop. So he's definitely not afraid of the bit. Like I say, even when I do ride him with a bit, I don't really use it. And part of the reason I started that, because I noticed every time, because there, you know, basically no halters on all day, and then I have a halter on them for 20 minutes, and their nose is so itchy from the knots and these sparks. Wherever the halter's touching, they're like, oh, it's so itchy right there. Yes. Same thing if you're on your horse and he starts to pay attention to something else, start going asking questions. Can you back up? Yes, you can. You're smart. Uh-oh. There you go. I would rather him look at me, but because he's feeling me, I'm not going to make it too difficult. You need to go a couple more circles. Ah. I know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. You're pushing into me. There you go. Do a circle this way. There we go. Not too far. Not too far. Not. There you go. Ah, see. You're a super smart pony. He's going back and forth between the devil and the angel on his brain. On his shoulders there. He's going, oh, Mother Nature's saying, yeah, I gotta tip my head up, my tail up, and get running around. And then my thinking side of my brain's going, no, I would better not do that, I don't think. Somebody's saying that would be a bad idea. Just always paying attention to your horse's emotions and how much energy you have to put forth for them to pay attention to you, to get their mind back on you. So he's really good. There's nothing exciting going on, really. Nothing very exciting. Yeah, there's your reins. Put this up. I know, so bored in here. So bored. There it is. Boop-de boop. Okay, let's see if you remember how to do this. Oopsie daisy. See, yes I do. I'm the best pony there ever was. I know how to win those cookies. Yep, Simon didn't say go anywhere. Practice our neutral laterals. There he goes. Uh-oh. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, yeah. So that's one of the neutral lateral flexion. Have you heard of that? Yeah. So that's like the vowels. I call them the vowels or the notes. Before you play a musical instrument, you got to learn the notes, and probably before you're going to be able to be any good at reading or spelling, you got to learn the vowels as well as the alphabet. But I call the neutral lateral each way A and E, because those are your two most used vowels. My hindquarter yields, forequarter yields, I call them I and Y because they're mostly shaped straight. So he should stay straight pretty much when he's yielding these forequarters, pivoting off his hindquarters. And the O and U are roundish, so that's the hindquarter yield. There. So the better he knows all those maneuvers, so everything we do with him has a basis in those maneuvers. So the better he knows how to do all those, the better he's going to be able to do anything else we ask him to do, because each thing has an assigned pressure and place to go to move away from pressure. Like this string around his neck, I'm not making any contact with the bit, but he knows he feels pressure right here. And if he was ignoring that, I would add pressure in front of him with this until he was like, oh yeah, there he goes. He's still a little tight, so it's a good idea to do more neutrolateral flexions and hindquarter yields when they're tight like that, so they get their body, their ribs moving, because they get a little bit anxious and then their ribs get tight and then they forget to loosen them up, and then it just, their body dictates how they feel because of their sympathetic nervous system is keeping everything in a worried state. There, you see the change? You see him, his body relaxed, he licked and chewed. He wasn't, looking around so quickly. He'd slowed his thoughts down. That tells you he's back into a partnership type state. But we don't want to keep them from ever getting anxious, because we're going to use that. We're going to need that adrenaline on race day or at any competition we want to do. We want to be able to call on it, but not just when we say yeah, that they go, flood their body with adrenaline with fear on top of it. Rather, they just know exactly what to do and then put more energy into doing it the correct way. Because when they get scared, they're gonna hollow their back immediately. But if they understand what they're supposed to do, they're gonna know that's just gonna make it harder to get, even if they're running away from something. They're gonna say they're gonna be in a state where their brain went, you only know how to move your body like this. You don't practice it with your back hollow or anything, so that would feel so unnatural to you if you went like that. So they'll just, even when they're scared, they'll just go, well, I don't know, I'm looking for it in this direction instead of in that direction. So as long as we can keep them, being able to shape them in the right direction without force, that's why we don't pull them to turn or pull them to stop. It's because we're going to eventually use the sensitivity of their mouth to help shape their body. So when I lift on the reins, his nose should go down. He's not understanding it, so I'll just wait. We haven't done this too many times. There, that was a try. He's very self-confident. Understands what's going on. He's always been a friendly little guy. Okay, you wanna go trot? Boop, boop, boop. I'm not gonna kick him. I'm gonna start squeezing. I'm gonna start acting like I'm doing a 4/4 yield or a hindquarter yield. So if I'm going to touch with my spur right here behind this, or touch with my leg first and then engage the spur, and I'm going to ask this foot to move forward or move. And as soon as it starts to move, because when he feels that pressure, he's going, oh, I got to pick this foot up and put it over here. But as soon as he picks it up, I release the pressure and ride forward. And if he takes that signal, then I can stay in this rhythm here and ride with him. But if he doesn't understand it, I'll just go do the other leg and the other leg and the other leg. And if he's still real sticky, I'll just go, well, let's go back and do neutrolateral or a hindquarter yield or something that you know what to do. Like instead of pulling his head this way to come around this turn, I just put my leg back here, and he knows, oh, I'm going to have to. And if that didn't work, I'd put my other leg on this side, and he'd go, oh, I need to move away from that pressure. So we're practicing on him knowing where to go and how fast and how slow, strictly just based on our seat, and we use the string and the stick to help, and our legs to help guide. Now if that didn't work, like if I'm doing let's say I'm going to do a 4/4 yield here, so I'm not really adding any pressure to the bit, I'm just making it hard for him to go the other way. And now he's not paying attention. Hang on, let me get him back. He's losing it. He's thinking about his buddies. And it's hard when I'm talking to you. He knows it, so he's like, if you're not talking to me, I better fend for myself. hindquarters, there. Forequarters, nice. You got snot coming out of your nose. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah, there you go. When you're doing 4/4 yields, it should feel like you're sitting on a gate, and the hinges are behind you, and when they move, it's just like how the gate moves.
Pivot on the front.
Yep. No, pivot on the hindquarters. If the front's moving and the back's not going forward, it should almost feel like, because they have to put their weight on their back end anyway to make it easier to pick up their front end. So it almost feels like they're going backwards just a little bit when they're doing it correctly, because this left foot has to go behind the right, so they're shifting their weight to make a little room for that, and then pick up the other one. If they're doing it wrong, they're going forward. This right front's going in front of the left one, and then because it did that, well, that's the hind end's now further away from the front than it was, especially this side. So now it accidentally has to step forward, and now he's done the maneuvering correctly. But a lot of people will reward that, going, oh yeah, he stepped over there. But if he doesn't do it correct, it doesn't do you any good in the long run. I know, it's for kindergartners in here, huh? Just for kindergartners. You sound way smarter than this. And it started out, to learn that, I had to engage the spur most times. But now he just knows, oh, I feel your weight over here and back a little, and you this. I think if I do that, and when he does that, then the pressure stays the same. It's just, yep, if I want a little more step, that box is coming towards you again. You just take one more step out of its way. I know. Well, you got to get me closer than that. Nope, not like that. There you go. Hind-quarter yield. So that's where this, being able to isolate and separate. Now next thing you know, you can open gates because all you did was a 4/4 yield and a hind-quarter yield. And don't race through the gate. Don't race through the gate. Just wait a second. Golly. You gotta turn the camera off. There we go. But he's light to stop and ask him not to go forward. That's all. I'm okay with him going, I want to go. But if he's just as light to say, okay, I'll stay with you if you ask. Oh, that's girl poop. You don't smell that. Don't be sniffing girl poop. That saddle isn't near as tight as I think I need it. Upsie daisy. Boo-ba-doop. Boo-ba-doop. What were those ponies all racing around here for, huh? They were racing around on me crazy pony. There's your brothers. What are your brothers up to? I know. That's good to hear. Where are you going?
You want that dish on that side over there?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so I would take on the corner over there, stick it on the corner.
No, we need to be like towards the middle of the building because we're trying to. The satellites are over there. They're on more in the northern hemisphere,
Okay.
so it has to point and go over that tree. So where it is, it doesn't really miss anything, and it's still partially obstructed, but the signal's still good. But if we got it up at least one level,
At least just middle ways and then up on top.
yeah. And then I think we need to make a hole big enough to run that cable down, because has to connect to the modem, and it's like a special cable. You can't just go get. You can get an extension or something, I think, but they're expensive. Yeah, and then we'll end up putting that modem may stay upstairs or upstairs outside, and it'll give better coverage to all the house compared to where it is now. It's just on one side of the house. Okay, get out of here. Oh my goodness, a sick pony. There he goes. Yeah. Well, just a short demo. He's still coughing. I don't think he feels that bad. I just don't want to stress him too much. We're going to leave in about 3 or 4 days. 11-hour trailer ride. Hey.
Do you think it's just because it's dusty and dry out?
No, they've caught something. So, hey, where you going? You misunderstanding something there. Yes. Ooh. Thunder's got it bad, and he's just looks like he might be getting over it. This horse has had it for 4 or 5 days, more or less. He's never really acted sick. He's coughed a couple times. The other brother doesn't seem like he's got it at all, or maybe just a little bit of snot here and there. And the other horse that wasn't born here, grew up in New Mexico, he's not had no snot at all. Yoo-hoo.
Do you want me to shut this gate?
No, I'm just gonna unsaddle him, and I just wanted to have a short demo horse for you. Get a picture of what it should look like. Yeah. With the champion pony. There you go. What a champ. What a champ. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. What a smart pony! open gate was right there. You could have escaped. But you're too smart for that. He said, that'd get me in trouble, I'm sure. Ah, leave that alone. Hey. You're just going to get it dirty. Just going to get it dirty. Eventually I'll teach him to bring that pad to me to put on him. That's why he always liked to play with it a little bit, but now every time he sees it he goes right after it because I gave him a cookie after. Yep. Had another horse we sold, we taught him to play fetch. And just once he understood that if he brought you something, you're going to give him a cookie. So it got where if you're just out there doing something, or he sees you coming out to the pasture, he'll start walking to the gate, and then he'll start looking around for a stick or something to bring you so he could have a cookie. Who's the super pony? Super savvy pony. Nope, nothing in there for you, for your snotty nose, especially. Nothing for your snotty nose. Okay, you ready? You ready? Okay, head low. Who is that champion? He is a cookie earning fool. He's a cookie earning fool.